Welcome to our channel where we dive into the darkest corners of the human mind. I'm your host, Nandan, and tonight we're going on a journey into the abyss of terror. Today we bring you the top 3 terrifying, scary stories that will send shivers down your spine. Stories whispered in the dead of night, tales that linger long after the lights go out. So, lock your doors, turn off the lights, and prepare to be terrified. Deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, shrouded in an eerie silence, stood a dilapidated cabin. It had been abandoned for decades, its wooden walls rotting, windows boarded shut, consumed by creeping vines. Locals told tales of a family that once sought refuge within its walls, only to meet a gruesome end. Now it stands as a testament to their suffering, a place where the veil between our world and the next wears thin. One stormy night, a group of friends, fueled by youthful bravado, decided to spend the night in the cabin. They dismissed the local legends as mere folklore, their laughter echoing through the desolate woods as they approached the dilapidated structure. The wind howled like a banshee, and rain lashed against the cabin, but the friends paid it no mind. They built a fire in the old stone fireplace, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows on the dusty walls. As the night deepened, the storm raged on, and the friends shared stories, each tale adding to the unsettling atmosphere. Then, one of them noticed something peculiar. A faint scratching sound coming from the boarded-up window. They dismissed it as a branch, but the sound persisted, growing louder, more insistent. One by one, their laughter died down, replaced by a palpable unease. The temperature in the cabin plummeted, a bone-chilling cold seeping into their bones. The fire sputtered, casting grotesque shapes on the walls as the scratching at the window became a relentless scraping. Suddenly the room went deathly silent. The wind outside ceased its howling, the rain stopped its relentless drumming. And then they heard it, a blood-curdling scream echoing from the floorboards above. The friends froze, their blood turning to ice in their veins. The floorboards above creaked and groaned, heavy footsteps pacing back and forth, unseen eyes seemingly watching their every move. Panic surged through the group, their hearts pounding in their chests like trapped birds. They huddled closer to the dying fire, their eyes darting around the darkened cabin. Then, with a deafening crash, the front door flew open, a gust of icy wind extinguishing their only source of light, plunging them into absolute darkness. The heavy footsteps descended the stairs, slow, deliberate, each step sending shivers down their spines. One of the friends, a young woman named Sarah, couldn't take it anymore. She screamed, a primal scream born of pure terror, and in that moment the entity made itself known. A cold, spectral hand shot out from the darkness, clamping over her mouth, silencing her scream. In the quaint, sleepy town of Hollow Creek, nestled amidst rolling hills and whispering pines, lay a place shrouded in mystery and dread, the Whispering Woods. Locals spoke of the woods in hushed tones, their voices barely above a whisper, for they knew the secrets hidden beneath the emerald canopy. It was said that the woods held onto the memories of those who dared to venture within its shadowy embrace. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun began its descent, a young woman named Emily found herself drawn to the edge of the Whispering Woods. She had always been fascinated by the local legends, dismissing them as mere folklore, but something about the woods called to her. As she stepped across the threshold, a strange feeling washed over her, a sense of unease that sent shivers down her spine. The air grew heavy, the silence broken only by the rustling of leaves beneath her feet. She could have sworn she heard whispers carried on the wind, faint and indistinct, yet filled with an unspoken sorrow. Emily ventured deeper into the woods, the trees closing in around her like skeletal fingers. The sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy, casting the path ahead in perpetual twilight. The further she walked, the louder the whispers became, swirling around her like phantoms. She stopped, her heart pounding in her chest, and listened intently. The whispers seemed to be coming from all directions at once, whispering her name, beckoning her deeper into the heart of the woods. Fear gnawed at the edges of her mind, urging her to turn back, but a strange curiosity compelled her forward. As darkness enveloped the woods, Emily stumbled upon a clearing. In the centre stood an ancient oak tree, its gnarled branches reaching towards the sky like twisted claws. The whispers were at their strongest here, swirling around the base of the oak, their voices filled with a palpable sense of dread. As she approached the tree, she noticed something etched into its bark, a symbol, ancient and arcane. The moment her fingers brushed against the symbol, the whispers ceased, replaced by an eerie silence. Then the ground beneath her feet began to tremble. A low growl echoed through the woods, deep and guttural, sending a primal fear coursing through her veins. She turned to run, but it was too late. A pair of glowing red eyes pierced the darkness, followed by the unmistakable sound of heavy breathing. Emily was paralyzed with fear, her mind struggling to comprehend the horror unfolding before her. A creature emerged from the darkness, its form shifting and contorting in the moonlight. It was a grotesque amalgamation of nightmares, its flesh rotting, its eyes burning with an unholy light. She screamed, a desperate plea for help that was swallowed by the ancient trees. The creature lunged, its claws bared, its jaws open in a silent snarl. Emily closed her eyes, bracing for the inevitable. Chapter 3. The Ghost in the Mirror. In a secluded Victorian mansion perched atop a windswept hill overlooking the stormy coastline, lived a solitary young woman named Anya. The grand old house, with its creaking floorboards, flickering gaslights, and dusty portraits of long-dead ancestors staring down from the walls, held an oppressive atmosphere, a sense of foreboding that permeated every room. It was in the reflection of an antique mirror, a relic from a bygone era, where Anya encountered the manifestation of her deepest fears. The mirror, with its ornate silver frame tarnished by time and its surface etched with a spiderweb of fine cracks, stood at the end of a long, dimly lit hallway. It was said to hold a strange energy, a portal to a realm beyond our own. Anya, drawn to the mirror's enigmatic allure, found herself inexplicably drawn to its presence. Night after night she would stand before the mirror, her gaze lost in its depths, captivated by the way it seemed to distort her reflection, twisting her features into a grotesque mockery of her former self. At first she dismissed it as a trick of the flickering gaslight, a figment of her imagination. But as the days turned into nights, a chilling realization began to dawn on her. The reflection in the mirror was no longer her own. It started subtly, a flicker of movement in the periphery of her vision, a fleeting glimpse of a spectral figure lurking just beyond the glass. But as time went on, the apparitions grew bolder, more defined. The reflection that stared back at Anya was a ghastly doppelganger, its eyes hollow and filled with a haunting sadness. Its lips curled into a malicious grin that sent shivers down her spine. Fear gnawed at the edges of Anya's sanity. She tried to avoid the mirror, to resist its hypnotic pull, but it was no use. The entity in the reflection seemed to beckon her, its presence growing stronger with each passing day. It was as if the mirror itself had become a conduit, amplifying her deepest fears and insecurities, giving them form and substance. One night, as a violent thunderstorm raged outside, Anya found herself standing before the mirror once more. The wind howled like a banshee, rattling the windows in their frames, and lightning illuminated the room in brief, blinding flashes. In the reflection, the ghastly figure grew more animated, its movements more frantic. Suddenly the mirror shattered, a deafening crash that echoed throughout the empty house. Shards of glass rained down around Anya, but she remained rooted to the spot, her gaze fixed on the spectral figure that now stood before her, no longer confined to the realm of reflections. The entity was every bit as terrifying as Anya had imagined, a skeletal figure draped in tattered white garments, its long, bony fingers tipped with razor-sharp claws. Its face was a mask of decay, its eyes burning with an unholy light. Anya screamed, a primal scream born of pure terror, as the entity lunged towards her, its skeletal hand reaching out to claim her soul. Outros, sweet dreams, or are they? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling tales. Remember, the darkness is always listening, waiting for the perfect moment to creep into your reality. Sleep tight if you can, for the shadows hold more than just secrets. They hold fear itself, and tonight, fear knows your name.